March the 4th, 2026. As you're looking at a map, Straits of Hormuz, you can see that Iran in the top, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE in the bottom. Qatar right there, highlighted. We have a air base there called the Al Udeid, and it's been hit. And what was hit was one missile made it through, and it hit the nerve center of our, what they call the THAAD system, basically, THAAD. And this one was very important because they had the U.S. military, it's their largest base, our largest base in the Middle East, and it was the nerve center of all the other bases as far as tracking missiles, firing missiles, taking down incoming objects and all that. So that nerve center getting hit, it hit right into the radar and all of the control systems. It partially blinded quite a few of the systems that we have. But they're saying that Iran just destroyed the AN/FPS 132 radar at El Udeid with a single missile. The radar was not just a target, it was the nervous system of every Patriot battery, every THAAD launcher, every layered air defense architecture the United States has spent 4 decades and several $1 trillion constructing across the Gulf. Every interceptor in the theater just went partially blind. The backbone of American missile defense and the most fortified U.S. base in the Middle East taken out by a single Iranian strike. Says while they were busy stripping South Korea's defenses, summoning Raytheon to the White House, they're going to, because they need a lot more missiles than what they had there. It seems like the previous administration had depleted a lot of the stockpiles in the Middle East, possibly selling them to Ukraine or giving them to there so it could go to the black market and the money come back. But again, they're requesting $50 billion in emergency funds to restock magazines that were already hollow before the war. And what we're talking about is the U.S. military wants $50 billion more dollars because a lot of again, magazines, you got these anti-defense or air defense missile systems and all that don't seem to have the ammo. It said the air defense shortage is worse than what was imagined. And guys, a lot of things are changing here. Again, now the U.S. is asking, the Trump administration and head said they are shipped, or I don't think they're asking, I think we've got 80,000 more troops on the way to this area. We have 11 ships on fire in the Strait of Hormuz. Yesterday, I think it was definitely before this air base defense system got taken out in Qatar, Trump had said, well, we're going to keep the straits open. We're going to allow naval escorts to safeguard ships coming and going. But you've got over 1,100 vessels that are anchored in this area. 11 are already on fire. I mentioned this yesterday, remember, that there were sitting ducks and it could become a disaster within itself. Now, Lloyd's of London has talked with the U.S. military. Lloyd's is a big ship insurer, #1 in the world, I think. I think they had the Titanic in that group. Anyway, Trump has now contacted them, or they contacted each other. And the U.S. is saying now we can no longer escort ships through the strait. We cannot pull our military away and our naval ships away from where they need to be to guard the strait. The reason they're saying that now is not because they're worried about the Iranian Navy here, again, Straits of Hormuz are here, but it's all of the missiles that are embedded in these mountain ranges that I've been talking about. They could easily take out anything and have no effect on any ships of the Iranian Navy, if any are left. You also had a Russian tanker get taken out by some type of submarine. And that was in the Mediterranean, if I'm not mistaken. But again, guys, we got, if you add both sides, you got the Persian Gulf we're looking at, then to the right, the Gulf of Oman there. If you add both sides of idle shipping vessels, it totals 3,200. They're setting idle. European gas is up 50%. Ours is rising, but 50%. Think about that. Says a global recession is no longer a forecast, it's a Wednesday, guys. The Gulf monarchs who rented their soil to Washington are watching their ports burn and their pipelines get threatened while the Navy says it needs more time. Hegseth said this morning that it went from a couple weeks maybe now to at least 8 weeks or 2 months with 80,000 more troops coming in here. So think about it. This could very well lead into a Gog-Magog war. Another thing that happened that I think is critical was Turkey had to shoot down an incoming Iranian missile. I think it landed in the Mediterranean. It didn't hit land, but it really got Turkey's, it raised the hair on the back of the neck. And what we're talking about is involving more nations in the Middle East, moving towards Europe now. Great Britain is talking about getting involved somewhat, but we'll just have to see. We've got a few people in there that are trying to help the U.S., and some are, some aren't. Spain is not, and Trump is really upset about that. They refuse to let the U.S. use any of the air bases or anything like that. Anyway, that's tit for tat, but what we got right now is a problem. And everybody said nobody wants a long, extended war. We don't want to get bogged down again in the Middle East. But if we now pass that point to where it's almost like we weren't quite prepared and we didn't hit as hard as we could have. You've got Israel getting hit by Lebanon. Israel has now moved into Lebanon, moving up into the hills. We talked about that yesterday. And they're going to push back. They're not going to, they said they're tired of it. They want the end of the Iranian mullahs, the influence of the Iranian proxies, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. They want it all over, all at one time, one death blow to the Iranian leaders and to the other proxies. That's what their goal is, and that's what Israel is saying. Whether they will be able to do that or not, we don't know yet. But we've got, again, Europe gas going up 50% already. And they've been in a natural gas semi-crisis since the Ukrainian-Russian war started. There was a lot of back and forth over those pipelines going back and forth and people freezing. Right now, Ukraine is just about to get overrun. They're in bad shape. They're losing city after city. And it doesn't look like Russia's going to stop anytime soon, let's say it like that. Now, the markets are in a little better shape. They're up about $233. You know, they've been down pretty strong for the last few days. Brent here, when this conflict started, was around $69 a barrel. Quickly went to 79 yesterday, went up over 80. Now we're down 68 cents per barrel. And that's anytime you see it go down, that's good. But I don't know if sometimes these are like steps. If the price is going up, you'll see it go up, and then some selling and buying going on. It steps back, but only about halfway stepping back. Then it steps forward twice, and then it just steps. Same way silver has been doing. So the oil situation, again, 50% increase, and I think the natural gas in Europe doubled their bills, and they were already had a lot of people in dire stress there because of the lack of it and the cost of heating gas and things like that. Now, again, 17 Iranian naval vessels have been destroyed, including their most operational submarine. And I saw one image where it was an Iranian battleship, and it was hit by a torpedo there, blown to pieces. Of course, it was more than likely a U.S. submarine. So we have capabilities. We have the ability to finish this job. It's just not going to be as easy or as fast as before. And I said there's going to be a price to pay for the entire planet when it began. So we're going to have to pay attention to it, guys. There's no way around it. We do have a little bit of information. Jasmine Crockett is out. She lost last night. It looks like Al Green may be in trouble. Now, Ken Paxton and Cornyn almost tied it, but they're in the runoff. And so you also, Dan Crenshaw is out. So that's pretty good. I think, again, Gideon Crockett, Al Green, I think, is going out. They had some problems with late votes. And again, Paxton and Cornyn in the runoff coming up in May. And then we got the votes in November. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe. Things are changing very quickly in the Middle East. Watch here for updates. And please subscribe. Be safe.